Okay, this is a guide on how to complete all the phone call killer phone calls for tracking down Victor Zsasz in the Batman Arkham City campaign. So what's gonna happen is, originally I got a first phone call when I went to find Mr. Freeze. I went to Gotham City Police Department and I was trying to find my
Hardly
way in, which was
salvation.
really hard to
You've been
find, and
killing them.
all of a sudden this phone starts ringing. I go into detective mode and you see this orange phone booth with orange glowing things coming off of it. So I was like, oh, let me go check this out. And I answered the phone, and Victor Zsasz is there. He's like, I've got a game for you, Batman. And the
If you
game is
hurt them,
basically
Zaz, I
to
will
keep
hunt
finding
you
phones and
down.
track him down. So every time you answer a phone initially, he's like, well, this isn't the right phone, Batman. You have to go find this other one before I kill somebody. So you have to go through the city as fast as you can because you're timed and find the other phone that he's actually calling you on. So I did give some tips on that in the achievement video on, on how to find the first ring and stuff like that. But what you want to do is basically use your grapnel hook and move as fast as you can because you really have to go fast. It doesn't give you a lot of time to mess up. And once you get to the phone, you'll see my first clip that my red circle just sat there for a while because it didn't know what was going on. You want to make sure your circle is tracing him as much as possible to ensure that you can track him down in a timely manner. So I have every phone call here. I did cut out all of the traveling scenes because it may be different from time to time. I'm not really sure, but I'm sure you'll figure out how to get there and with no problem. And I just left the phone calls in here so you can see how it plays out and hear all the commentary, stuff like that, and you can see how I trace because I kind of got the hang of it to where I could trace things a lot faster and get them, pretty quickly. So at the end, you find his hideout, and when you get in the hideout, there's a couple tricks that to get around there that you learn if you play through like the main story first, like
You
throwing
should
the
have stayed
ice
that
on the
way.
water and then grapple hooking and pulling yourself over. That's something that took me a little bit to figure out, but he said going through it in the campaign really helped. So what I did was go ahead and just throw that down and got across pretty quickly. Once you go in, you'll take down Victor Zsasz, and you will be finished with this whole playthrough. It's worth quite a bit of points, and it was kind of fun to track him down. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough.
And alone, but not for long, of course. I took to gambling, or maybe it took to me. If only I had been good at it. I may not be where I am today. As my life spiraled out of control, I desperately formed a plan. A plan to win back my parents' money and be happy again. It didn't work, of course. Plans like that never do. But as I stood outside the Iceberg Lounge on that hot summer night, I remember feeling something. Hope, maybe. The Iceberg Lounge was crawling with the disgusting flesh of humanity. You could find anything there. If you had the money, of course. At the beginning, I seemed to be winning. The cards all went my way, and I found myself at the owner's table. For some reason, I thought I would win, that he would play fair. I looked around the table. I saw the people I was against. Card sharks, thugs, princes, and the disgusting midget who ran the place. One by one, they all lost or folded. The chips were piling up, and it was just him and me. They called him the Penguin, even back then. He had both eyes, of course. That little accident hadn't happened yet. And both of them were looking at me when I put down my cards. The 6 of clubs. The 6 of diamonds. He looked scared. He leaned forward, and I could smell the cigar stench on his breath. The 6 of spades, and finally, the 6 of hearts. I felt good. And then he started laughing. He belched out smoke and he put his cards down on the table. Card by card, my heart sank. A 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a damn 7! A straight flush ended me there. I was lost and thrown out into the city to die, penniless. Can you imagine the vagrant's surprise when I grabbed his knife from his hands? It was instinctive. It was beautiful. In one movement, I sliced out his throat and gave him the gift of salvation. It happened so fast, but I felt every joyous sensation.
Can you feel the time approaching, little pigs? Oh, this is a glorious day for you to die on. I cannot describe with mere words the joy I feel as I make that mark into my flesh. Your entire lives have been accelerating to this point. Soon, I will carve your life on my arm. This is all too much fun, isn't it, Piggy? I'm enjoying myself so much. Come on, Batman. Where are you? Don't worry. He'll fail. This time, be the next. I can see it now. This isn't right. This is not over. It cannot be over. My blade will bathe in the crimson rivers of blood that will pour from the holes I cut into your body. You cannot deny me the mark. I need to make the mark. It's all I have left.